Tank, how would you fight Floyd in his prime? Like if you were to fight Floyd in
Don't
his prime,
fight him.
if you guys were both in the...
Don't fight him.
I'm still retired, officially retired, but I didn't retire from entertaining people, and I didn't retire from making money. So this coming up soon in a couple days, it's all about entertaining the people.
Between Tank and Floyd is that Tank got the type of power. When you got power that carry up like Pacquiao, you can move up many weight divisions, not just, the two that he primarily fought in. We saw him dribbling Mario Barrios off the canvas, so we saw him do it at one point.
Gervonta Davis recently reacted to Floyd Mayweather's challenge, stressing that he's confident in his abilities and can take on any top opponent. However, he made it clear that he isn't interested in fighting Mayweather, noting their past mentor-mentee bond and suggesting that such a fight wouldn't fit with his career plans.
Tank, how would you fight Floyd in his prime? Like if you were to fight Floyd in
Don't
his prime,
fight him.
if you guys were both in the...
Don't fight him. I wouldn't fight him. I mean, Floyd was good. He was top tier. I mean, me, I feel as though I could compete with any top fighter. I'm not saying me going at Floyd, but I'm saying like I feel as though my skills, and not to take nothing from Floyd, but I feel like my skills can compete with anybody that ever laced up a boxing glove.
You're crazy to watch, bro. Like,
yeah.
You hit like a fucking train.
Gervonta Davis recently discussed his relationship with Floyd Mayweather, emphasizing that he's now focused on his own career, regardless of Mayweather's past influence. While Mayweather did play a role in his journey, Davis suggested that Floyd has already accomplished everything he set out to do in both boxing and his involvement with him. Floyd's always been like that. I have to focus on myself. He already did what he had to do, Davis said, implying that whatever impact Mayweather had, whether positive or negative, is in the past. Despite any challenges or setbacks from his relationship with Mayweather, Davis has stayed focused on his own success. He acknowledged that if he had achieved as much as Mayweather did in boxing, he might feel the same way about stepping back and focusing on his own path.
So how's your relationship with Floyd now? Is he still a part of your camp and crew or something, or not?
Floyd outdoing him. He always been like that. I gotta focus on what I'm focusing on. He already did what he had to do, bro.
For sure.
I ain't gonna lie. Me, if I did what I like what he did in the sport, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't follow him for like stand to himself, things like that. But it's also a part of me type thing, like come back and help too. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's much love to the whole Mayweather promotion. You know what I mean? Ain't no bad blood type shit.
In a recent interview, Floyd Mayweather explained that while he's officially retired from professional boxing, he's not retired from entertaining or making money. He stays active by taking exhibition fights, seeing them as a chance to engage with fans and secure big paydays. Mayweather has compared himself to business moguls like Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett, stressing that retirement from competition doesn't mean stepping away from smart financial moves. This mindset likely explains why Mayweather called out Tank Davis for a potential fight. He knows that facing his former protege would draw a lot of attention and bring in significant revenue. However, Davis has made it clear he's not interested in such a match, preferring to focus on his own career rather than facing his former mentor in a non-competitive exhibition.
The fight you've got coming up, Floyd, who do you think has taken the biggest risk taking that fight? Has it been you, Floyd Mayweather, or has it been Logan Paul, and why?
Well, it's always me, because at the end of the day, I'm always in a no-win situation. If I go out, I talked about this numerous times. If I knock him out in the first round, they're going to say it was a waste of our money. If I carry him, let him go a few rounds, then they're going to say, oh, Floyd Mayweather couldn't knock this guy out. But people got to realize, I'm still retired, officially retired. But I didn't retire from entertaining people, and I didn't retire from making money.
SHOVES the adult recently broke down the potential fight between Floyd Mayweather and Tank Davis, arguing that Floyd is no longer as skilled as Tank at this point in his career. While Mayweather was once known for his incredible technique and defensive abilities, SHOVES believes his time has passed. Mayweather is no longer at the level where he can compete with someone like Tank, who is in his prime. SHOVES highlights that Tank Davis is a complete fighter, combining skill, power, and smart strategy. He's precise in the ring, makes adjustments during fights, and has the ability to knock out opponents at any moment. Unlike Floyd, who focused mostly on defense and counterpunching, Tank is more aggressive, constantly applying pressure while still being defensively aware. At this stage, SHOVES argues that Mayweather would struggle to keep up with Tank's speed, power, and ring IQ. While Floyd still has plenty of experience, he's no longer the dominant fighter he once was. If the fight were to happen, it would be more for entertainment than a true competitive challenge. Tank Davis is simply the better fighter today.
My thing was, it wasn't that he's a big guy who could go to 140. It was that he's so talented and punched so hard that those skill sets can carry up with them in weight. That's what the great ones do. They have that ability. That's why I mentioned Floyd Mayweather wasn't 154, but his skill set was so good. The difference between Tank and Floyd is that Tank got the type of power. When you got power that carry up like Pacquiao, you can move up many weight divisions, not just, the two that he primarily fought in. We saw him dribbling Mario Barrios off the canvas, so we saw him do it at 140.
Tank Davis has recently expressed interest in stepping into the ring against his former mentor, Floyd Mayweather, creating a dream match that many fans once thought was impossible. The idea of Tank versus Money Mayweather feels surreal, a student challenging his master, a young lion attempting to dethrone the king who ruled the sport for so many years. Tank, once seen as Mayweather's protege, was handpicked to be the next boxing superstar under Floyd's guidance. However, their relationship has had its ups and downs, with Tank eventually leaving Mayweather Promotions to take full control of his career. Now, the prospect of them facing off in the ring adds another intriguing chapter to their complex history. What makes this fight so captivating is the clash of styles and generations. Floyd, the undefeated defensive genius, built his legacy on precision, counterpunching, and making opponents miss. Tank, in contrast, is a powerful, aggressive fighter known for his explosive knockout ability. The big question is, could Floyd's experience and ring IQ be enough to neutralize Tank's power, or would the younger, hungrier fighter force the legend into a real battle? Many fans believe that if the fight were to happen, it might be more of a spectacle than a true competition, considering Floyd's retirement and his focus on exhibition matches. Still, the storyline alone, of a former student trying to surpass his master, would make it one of the most talked about matchups in boxing history. Whether it's an exhibition or a legitimate fight, the mere possibility of Tank versus Mayweather has the entire boxing world buzzing.
YouTube breaking news, Gervonta Davis is now calling out Floyd Money Mayweather for an absolute dream fight. A real fight, not an expedition. Gervonta wants to take out the master. Student versus master. Gervonta versus Money and Floyd Mayweather. What do y'all think about this fight? And if it happens, who you got? Do you got Gervonta the student, or do you got Floyd Mayweather the teacher? What's up? I hope this fight happens, because I will watch this shit. And I will watch both records. Both people are undefeated. This will go down in history. What do y'all think? Throw a thumbs up, and if you know what's next, subscribe.
Tank Davis recently called out Floyd Mayweather, criticizing both his attitude and how some fighters approach him. Davis doesn't respect boxers who seek Mayweather's approval or validation only to later claim they're the best. He feels too many fighters try to ride Mayweather's coattails instead of building their own legacies through their accomplishments. What frustrates Tank even more is Mayweather's ego and constant self-promotion. He pointed out how Floyd always seems to turn every conversation into one about himself, saying, "Floyd is always like, I'm this, I'm that," suggesting that even in discussions not related to him, Mayweather finds a way to bring the focus back to his own legacy. Davis believes that instead of truly supporting the next generation of fighters, Floyd is more interested in constantly reminding everyone of his own greatness.
First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight Benavidez. That don't make no fucking sense. You don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you. You don't never.
Is there like a
Last question, guys.
is there like a love-hate for like fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. And he because I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this.
This call-out is significant because Davis was once Mayweather's protege. Floyd played a major role in shaping Tank's career, positioning him as boxing's next big star. However, their relationship eventually soured, and Davis left Mayweather Promotions to take control of his own path. This latest criticism shows that the tension between them is far from gone. By speaking out, Davis is making it clear that he's done living in Floyd's shadow. He wants to be recognized for his own skills, accomplishments, and legacy, rather than constantly being compared to his former mentor. Whether this leads to an actual fight is still uncertain, but one thing is clear: Tank no longer sees Mayweather as someone he needs to impress. Instead, he views him as someone clinging to the past while boxing moves forward. Gervonta Davis made a valid point when he criticized Floyd's tendency to always center everything around himself. In a recent clip, Mayweather was seen correcting a reporter who referred to him as one of the greatest of all time. Instead of accepting the compliment, Floyd seemed irritated and insisted he wasn't just one of the greatest, he was the greatest of all time. The situation became even more awkward when the reporter asked Gervonta Davis how he felt about it. In a recent interaction, Mayweather was asked about fighting someone considered one of the best in boxing history. Instead of letting Davis answer, Floyd cut in and redirected the conversation back to himself. He demanded that the reporter acknowledge his undisputed record, victories, and accomplishments. Floyd even pressured the reporter to list his achievements, making it clear he wanted verbal confirmation of his status as the greatest. This moment perfectly illustrates what Davis meant when he criticized Floyd for always focusing on himself. Even when the spotlight is on other fighters, Mayweather finds a way to shift the attention back to his own career. It's a clear reason why Tank has distanced himself. He wants to build his own legacy, without constantly being overshadowed by his former mentor.
You're backed by arguably one of the greatest of all time, right?
What are we rating ourselves on? What are we rating on?
Okay.
Well, we're gonna know. In the least amount of fights, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
Floyd Mayweather is known for his confidence, but sometimes that confidence crosses into open conflict, not just with fighters, but even with members of the media. In one instance, Mayweather had a heated exchange with a news anchor, turning what should have been a simple interview into a personal battle over money. When the anchor asked a question that Floyd didn't like, instead of answering directly, he shifted the conversation toward wealth. He dismissed the anchor's credibility by saying, "Your job doesn't pay like mine does." It was a clear attempt to belittle the reporter, implying that his financial success made him superior. The situation quickly became tense as the anchor tried to steer the conversation back to boxing, but Mayweather refused to back down. This moment highlighted Floyd's long-standing tendency to use money as a way to assert dominance, not just over opponents in the ring, but also over anyone who challenges him outside of it. While his financial success is undeniable, moments like these show why some people view Mayweather as arrogant. Instead of engaging in meaningful discussions, he often uses his wealth as a defense mechanism, turning even simple conversations into unnecessary conflicts.
Just a guy with a job. I have a job though. So who would you fight next?
And guess what? Your job don't pay like my job.
Well, it depends.
Your job don't pay like my job.
That brings me to another point.
I can make 200 million in 18 months because I want to come back and steal some more money. I'm in a whole new era, dominating fighters.
And he's a whole new fighter, Floyd.
A whole new fighter.
Oh yeah.
And when I beat him, what they gonna say? Oh well, we knew this was gonna happen. Floyd Mayweather was a bigger fighter, or he could outbox him, or this. It's always excuses.
The first major conflict between Floyd Mayweather and Tank Davis occurred when Tank was set to fight Jose Pedroza for his first world title. At the time, Davis was still under Mayweather Promotions, but tension began to build when Tank felt Floyd was pushing him into fights he wasn't fully prepared for. Tank later explained that Mayweather wanted him to face even tougher opponents despite his limited experience at the time. Another issue that caused friction was money. Tank revealed that Mayweather didn't pay him much for the Pedroza fight, even though it was a title bout that helped launch his career. This financial disagreement was one of the first signs that Tank felt undervalued under Mayweather's management. Beyond money and matchmaking, there was also a clash over location. Floyd didn't want Tank to stay in Baltimore, his hometown, because he believed it was full of distractions that could hinder his boxing career. Instead, Mayweather wanted Tank to move to Las Vegas to train under his supervision. However, Tank didn't like being controlled in that way, and these early disagreements laid the foundation for the eventual fallout between them.
I remember first hearing an issue between Floyd and Gervonta before Gervonta fought Pedraza. And the issue I heard was that Floyd didn't want Gervonta to stay in Baltimore because he felt there was too many distractions for him in Baltimore, and he wanted to stay in Vegas. And the story I was told at that time was that Floyd gave Gervonta one of his penthouses or one of his apartments in the Palms Hotel, and he said, "This is your apartment. I'll furnish it for you." He got him a Jeep. At the time, Gervonta was not a world champion. He got him like a Jeep, a 4x4. You know, he basically said, "I'll make it comfortable for you. I don't want you to go to Baltimore. I want you to stay here. I don't think Baltimore is the place for you," you know? And what I was told was Gervonta sold all the furniture, sold the Jeep, and went back to Baltimore and bought a Benz. You know, with that's what I was. That's what I was told at the time. So
Tank Davis recently opened up about his disillusionment with certain people in boxing, expressing disappointment in those he once looked up to. He explained that, at first, he had great admiration for these individuals, but over time, he came to realize they weren't the people they made themselves out to be. Once you get around someone you look up to, you realize they don't be who they say they are or who they portray to be, he said. This realization left him feeling let down and ultimately led him to decide to go his own way and do things on his own terms.
It just, once you get around someone, you be looking up to these people so bad, and like once you get around, they don't be who they say they is or who they portray to be. You be like, damn, it's damn near like it's a letdown. So you be more so hurt off, you know. So it's like, I just go my own way, like I do my own thing and things like that. So that's more so that's what it was, and that's cool. It's just like you just don't vibe with like what they on, and that's, you know. I mean, I've been in a situation where though, like, you know, I was in a lose-lose situation. Now, what came out still on top
with Floyd? You said, what was the lose-lose situation? What you mean?
Just little situation that he put me in to, you know, make me lose, but he thought I was gonna lose. But
you talking about like a boxing match or?
Yeah, boxing match.
Ooh, if you don't mind. If you don't want to, it's fine.
Joseph Pedraza, my first world title. I was 16-0. I was 16-0. 16-0, and I was 21 at the time. And I haven't fought in like 7 or 8 months.
Tank Davis further explained how Floyd Mayweather placed him in a lose-lose situation, where he was set up to fail. When asked to clarify, Davis explained that Mayweather put him in the position to fight Jose Pedraza for his first world title, even though he wasn't fully prepared. Tank was just 21 years old, weighed 160 pounds, and hadn't fought in 7 to 8 months before facing Pedraza. He believed Floyd thought he would lose the fight. At the time, Davis was also struggling financially, making only about $10,000 per fight for several months with no fights to keep him active. When Mayweather's team finally came back with an opportunity, they pressured him into taking the Pedraza fight, telling him, "You've got to fight this fighter," referring to Pedraza. Davis felt he had no choice but to accept the fight, even though the situation was tough. Despite all the odds and doubts against him, Tank proved everyone wrong by winning the fight and becoming a world champion. This victory showed that even when people tried to doubt him, he could rise above and come out on top.
Around that time, I wasn't making that much money. I probably was making like $10,000 a fight. So 6 months is crazy to not fight, you know. So when they came back and it was like, all right, you gotta fight. He was like, you gotta fight this fighter, which is Joseph Pedraza. If you don't fight him, you're not fighting. You sitting on the shelf. So I had to fight him. In the midst of all that happened, I got evicted. I had to sell my jewelry. So now, and remind you, I'm letting them boxers that you talking about, I'm putting them on game.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.